Welcome to Family Business World. I'm your host, Dr. Dale Caldwell, and we have a fascinating guest this week, as we do all the time. But this will be unique. We will learn more about joy. So, Erica, welcome to Family Business World. How are you today?
I am wonderful, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
And your smile is contagious, so I know this is why you've talked about joy. So, Erica Lasan, the founder of Joy Me to Purpose. And so, as always, I want to begin with how you began. And so where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? And how did you get to this business?
Oh, wow. It has been a journey.
Yes.
But I initially grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. That's where I'm from. And I went to a elementary school that was a public school in Baltimore. But then at some point in my early childhood, I got a full scholarship to go to Friends School of Baltimore, which is a private school that is in Baltimore, Maryland. And I think that that's really kind of where the idea of journeying really began for me, and understanding that other people have different perspectives of the world, and understanding that we all bring our unique experiences and perspectives to really just make the world a better place. But fast forward a couple of years after I graduated from Friends, I went to New Jersey and I attended Fairleigh Dickinson University, the Metropolitan campus in New Jersey, and I've just been here ever since. And for me, the journey has really been an evolution of my life, and understanding really that no matter what the situations, no matter what the circumstances, there's always joy to be had. But for me, it took learning how to really anchor myself in joy, to understand how that joy can ultimately really lead me to purpose, and sometimes in the most unexpected ways. Because I graduated during the recession in 2009, and I had all of these plans and all of these ideas about how life was going to turn out. I was going to get this great job, I could pay off my student loan debt. But then obviously that did not happen. It was really hard to find a job. And so at one point, after almost months, I would say years of just crying, I was calling my then boyfriend, now husband, every day on my lunch break, just crying and walking around the building crying and telling him just how unfulfilled I felt. And then at one point, he basically asked me, well, Erica, what is it that you want to do? And I said, I want to do everything. And he said, and this kind of blew my mind, but he said, well, just start somewhere. And that just kind of changed everything for me. And that's really how the journey to purpose began.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so, one of the reasons I ask about origin stories is we have young people watching and people of all ages who want to see themselves in you and hear that story, that you don't always start out with what you want to do. And all of us go through some hurdles and other things. And so, did you work for a company before you got into this, or how did you get to actually this business?
Oh, wow. So this business is actually a culmination of things I've been doing for the past 20 years.
Wow.
I didn't really work. Well, actually, I can't say that I haven't worked for companies. It's a culmination of experiences and skills that I've gained since graduating. But a lot of this experience, most of it came from really just having a vision or an idea of something that I wanted to do, and then just doing the stuff, learning by trial and error. And then most of the time when I would get an opportunity to really advance those skills, it was because of the work that I'd really done on my own. And that being kind of like the doorway for somebody seeing the possibility of me doing something else. So if I'm being honest, I've maybe only worked for 2 or 3 companies in my life where the skills that I'm using now have been used in a corporate setting. But outside of that, a lot of the stuff has been self-taught or learned by trial and error, and it's really been a wonderful ride.
It sounds that way. So when did you officially begin this business?
So this iteration of the journey and this business is actually just over 2 years old. I started it on November 11th, 2019. 11/11/19 was when I first started my vision casting workshop. It's now known as the Dream Academy. And it's a 6-week experience where you really begin to understand how your joy leads you to your purpose by way of understanding what the vision is that you desire for your life with clarity. Wonderful. And I launched that first workshop in November of 2019 with 5 people. And since then, I've run it 4 times. So from there, the more I began to understand the things that brought me joy, how it worked with the participants.
Erica, before you go there, let's talk about that first class, because it sounds. Okay. Now, who was in the class? What were these older people, younger people? What was the makeup of the class? That's fascinating.
Oh, it's really funny because there were people from all ages. When I really say that this work is meant for everyone. Right. All of the women that took part in the course were women. Right. But there were moms, stay-at-home moms that were a part of the course. There were people who were looking to, women who were looking to pivot in their career because they were unfulfilled in the workspace where they were, or they felt unappreciated or undervalued, and they just wanted to try their hand at something different, or understanding even why they were in that line of work. Right. There were seniors, a couple of senior citizens that were in the class as well, who were looking to understand what they were doing now in this retirement season of their life. So it was a really dynamic makeup in terms of just where people were in their life, which then allowed me to understand, this work could really work for everyone. Right.
So that was great that you had a kind of a diversity of folks at that first session, and so from there you said you learned a few things, and then what was the next step?
The next step was to figure out how I could continue to serve these women.
Wonderful.
After the Dream Academy was over.
Right.
So I began doing and I didn't even realize it at the time, but I was doing consulting work and coaching work. Right. And helping them understand how to utilize the vision that they created, and how to start curating a lifestyle that aligned with the vision in a way that brought them joy and left them energized versus feeling drained and overworked and overwhelmed. And for me, that was kind of like the light bulb moment in better understanding what my giftings were, and how I could use those things that make me feel so good, and most of it being based in conversation, and helping women develop creative solutions and systems to find more joy, purpose, and healing in what's next. And that led to a year-long program of 21-day challenges that I called LRM challenges, to help them anchor in joy, and now just other programs that are a result of that work as well. And
LRM stands for what again?
Live Rich Movement, which was actually the name of my business before I realized that Journey to Purpose was what people were picking up the most. Because that was kind of a Holy Spirit download. It started off as a header on my site, but every time I would get interviews, no one actually called my business the Live Rich Movement. They were calling it Journey to Purpose. And at one point, it dawned on me that that's really what it is about. It's about the joy in the journey so that you can find your way to purpose. So I just changed it.
Wow, no, that's phenomenal. And so what kinds of activities? So you do that first session, you're working with them, because I'm really, really interested, and I know the audience is, because we all could use this, right? I mean, there's nobody watching that couldn't really benefit from this. I mean, I'm a happy guy. I don't get depressed much. I do that, but I could still use more joy in my life. And so, what are some of the steps that you've learned work for your clients going forward?
Oh, I love this question because it's really a 3-step process. The Journey to Purpose is really a way for people to rediscover, reconnect, and recommit to their purpose and identity and joy. That's the goal. And step 1 of the program is the rediscovery phase, and you do that through the Joy Quest. And the Joy Quest is a program that I've put together for people to really understand the things that bring them joy so that they can create joy-led habits. Step 2 of the Journey to Purpose process is the reconnecting phase. And with that, that's where the Dream Academy comes in.
Okay.
And with that, the point is to really propel your purpose. Now that you have an understanding of the things that bring you joy, really sifting through all of those things to understand how your joy aligns with your purpose and how you can take those those joy-filled habits and make those intentional parts of your lifestyle, because that's the goal. Joy should be a lifestyle.
Right.
And we should be joyful always.
Right.
And then the third part of the process is activating accountability and making sure that you're committing to that purpose and identity and joy. And that's where coaching comes in, doing consultations, and really just taking your journey to purpose to the next level in a number of ways. I offer VIP days, and those are opportunities for people to work with me one-on-one in a full day session, and just getting them started on the journey, but in a way where, unlike my coaching, they're able to get a lot of information at once and then begin to implement those steps, and but seeing the full vision at once.
So can you have joy in bad things? So gossiping. Is there joy? So if someone comes to you and say, well, I really enjoy gossiping. I know it's not right, but I love gossiping about people. Is that a joy thing, or do you say, well, that you really don't have joy in that? But talk to me about that. Is that joy, or what?
I would say, especially with things like that, because I feel like joy is aligned with things that are light or things that make you feel good, but also things that ultimately come to serve the community and the people around you.
Right.
The whole reason why we're meant to have joy is so that we feel it and we're able to have that internal happiness, but that's really grounded and rooted. But then it's also so that the joy that we exude, other people are able to receive. If there's a matter where you're gossiping, I would first probably ask, well, why do you feel as though gossiping brings you so much joy? Because for me, the way I see things, there are underlying reasons for all of the things that we do. And this again ties back to identity. So when you begin to understand why you feel as though gossiping brings you joy, you can then begin to really, I guess, I don't want to say disassociate that part of your identity, but really then begin to understand how you could better use the elements of gossiping that bring you joy in a more productive manner, where you're not really, I don't want to say hurting the people around you, but gossiping can hurt people. It can hurt communities. It can hurt societies. And ultimately, we're all here to uplift. So,
absolutely.
Just getting to the root of what that actually is. But there is always joy to be had in everything.
And everything. So we're halfway through the show. We're going to take a commercial break now, a very short commercial break, and we'll come back to Family Business World.
Black Friday used to mean long lines and deals gone in a flash. That was Black Friday then. This is Black Friday now. This year, Target has Black Friday deals all November, with new deals each week, in-store and on Target.com. So you can get all the Black Friday savings without all the Black Friday stress. No matter how you shop, it's Black Friday now at Target.
Is everything ready for tomorrow?
Planning, shopping, carrying, washing, slicing, dodging, chopping, weeping, mashing, grating. And now, what oil are you going to use to cook all that effort? Introducing Bertolli Cooking Olive Oil. Ideal for cooking. Bertolli, elevate your every meal.
Welcome to Rowan Medicine's new facility in Sewell, home to Rowan Family Medicine. When you need a trusted physician for your whole family, Rowan Medicine is here for you. We provide routine wellness and preventative care appointments. We help guide you through diagnosis and treatment for a variety of illnesses. And we even connect you with other healthcare specialists. Call today to make an appointment or go to rowanmedicine.com.
It's Walmart's Black Friday deals for days. Get $87 Chromebooks and score other huge deals this Friday in-store. Shop Walmart's Black Friday deals for days.
Welcome back to Family Business World. We are having a great discussion about joy, about bringing joy into people's life. And so Erica, to continue the conversation, one of the things I often say is that one of the secrets of happiness and joy in life is two things. One is helping people. Two is creating something of your own. And I think that I've seen, that when you do those things, there are other things as well. And does that fit in with kind of what you talk about?
Yes. Oh my goodness. It really does. And that's really why it is a journey to purpose.
Right.
Understanding that the moment you're able to find joy and really commit to that joy and anchor your life in that joy, you feel good, but then it's also something that you can give to others.
Yeah.
And understanding that your purpose will fulfill you in ways that a job never really could. I find that often people go into career paths that were basically planned out for them or expected of them or that sound really nice, but they are so far, they're so misaligned from what the person's purpose actually is. And that's how you end up in feeling unfulfilled or feeling overwhelmed or feeling overworked because you're not anchored, you're not grounded in joy. And so the moment you're able to really get a hold on what your joy is, and then you're using it in a way that's purpose propelled, then you're able to do the things that feel good in a way that blesses others around you. So it's both things. And again, it's not that everyone who is looking for joy or purpose needs to have a business of their own. Although I personally think that that's a wonderful vehicle. I think that entrepreneurship is something that everyone should try their hand at if they know what it is that brings them joy and if they know that there's a way that they can serve others through their joy. But what's most important is that everyone understands what their purpose is and that they're leading with that purpose. Because if you know what your purpose is, you could also find a job that's aligned with your purpose, and then that still gets rid of the overwhelm, the overworked feeling, or feeling as though you're unfulfilled, because you know that what you're doing is actually aligned with who you've been destined to be and really what you were designed to do.
Well, and I often talk to folks to say that even if your job is, like a lot of people will complain, my job's so easy, I don't really have much to do. I say, well, that's an opportunity to really, to really develop your avocation, to really develop your purpose in life while you're getting paid to really begin so you can make that leap to doing that purposeful thing. And so what are some examples of some of the purposes that people have? So the audience gets a sense of, okay, purpose, what is she talking about? Is it making money is my purpose, or is it, what are some of the examples of purposes that you think, that you find very common in some of the people you work with?
Ooh, this is a very hard question to answer because each person's purpose is unique to them and their experience, their background, but more importantly, the gifts that they've been given, the talents that they've been given. I don't believe that anybody's purpose is to make money. Money is a tool and something that has been created over time that we need to, get through life and pay our bills so that we can have light and electricity and all of that stuff. But when you really get down to the nitty gritty of it and how we were initially created and what we were born to do, it wasn't to make money. We were born to really explore the world and commune with the people around us and show up in love and explore and have adventures and be creative. So for me, I really believe that every person's purpose is tied to their giftings and their talents, which sadly is something that I think for a very long time were the things that people were told to not to disassociate themselves from, but they were told that they couldn't make money doing those things. So what I find with the older generations is that it's really a matter of rediscovering who that creative person is, rediscovering what the gifts were that they put on the back burner or shelved in pursuit of really being able to create a living. Because these days you can create a living doing anything. The internet has made it a very, very wonderful world of possibilities as far as what we can create. But first and foremost, you have to understand what you were born to do, who you were designed to be, when you were placed here. And that's really where the rediscovery of identity and purpose and joy comes into the conversation.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And so for the audience, just some ideas. I mean, is a purpose to serve the homeless, or what are some of the purposes that you've kind of seen that people, that their gifts match with their purpose? So the audience gets a sense of what kind of thing, so they can begin thinking about their purpose.
So as far as people who've gone through my program, people who may have started in coming and not sure what they wanted to do with a business. So they may have been wanted to go to cosmetology school, but then they realized they wanted to open a hair salon.
Right.
And then they opened the hair salon, but at one point after going through the program, they realized they wanted to open a location on the other side of the country. That's happened.
Right.
I've had another person who's gone through the program who was working at in the financial world. She was working with finance, and she realized that she really didn't like the work that she was doing in finance. And so she created her own consultancy firm. There is someone else who was working in mental health, and she found that she wasn't really aligning herself with joy. And then she also started her own business as a mental health advocate.
Wow.
Stay-at-home moms, understanding how this season of their journey isn't something where they should feel as though they shouldn't prioritize themselves, but understanding that they still also deserve to prioritize moments for self-care and joy for themselves, and understanding how that will set them up once they're no longer at home with the kids full time, and understanding how they may be able to reintegrate themselves back into the workforce, but in a way that aligns them with joy. There's so many stories. Right now, I'm currently working with someone who's an artist, and she's a designer. And when we started working together, she felt as though she couldn't do both of them. But in the sessions that we've done since, not only has she come to understand how she could unite the vision of the two things, but she's also gained a client where it's like her power, her dream client, where she's able to do both things well. And now she's designing a home, but she's also doing commissioned artwork within the home. Just having an understanding of the possibilities, and really understanding that the moment you get clarity around your vision, and again, I always believe that people should lead with joy in this conversation, getting super clear about your vision. And the moment you're able to do that, the possibilities are endless. It's just, you got to know what you want. And the best way to figure that out isn't through having conversations with other people first, but really having those conversations with yourself. And joy is the easiest way to discover who you're actually meant to be.
Well, see, and that's a wonderful explanation, because what that does is that opens up, I think, for your business, because that's very, very, practical and business oriented. I think one of the stereotypes people hear, so she's talking about joy. It's a feel good thing. It's just, I'm just going to be happy today. But the joy is a feel good thing. But it's also about finding your vocation and avocation. And so it's a real counseling and coaching. And so I think it's important for the audience to know that this is real, helping you find a satisfying career and a satisfying life, and doing what you're really satisfied. And I think sometimes people hear that and they assume soft when it's both soft, warm, and hard.
Yeah.
It's
true.
Now, do you have a website? Is there a website so people want to learn more about this that you use, or how can they learn more about this?
Thank you. My website is ericalasan.com, ERICALASAN, and I can be found on social media at Erica Lasan, pretty much everywhere, except for on Facebook. It's Que Rica by Erica Lasan, but it redirects.
Excellent. So ericalasan.com on the website, and more information. And so this is really, really good. And so what's next? What's in the future? Where are you taking the business, and how are you looking to expand?
Oh man, all the places. I'm looking to do more speaking engagements at schools, so that we could really begin this message of retaining your joy as children, so that follows our next generation into the future, because my mission is really to transform the world through radical joy, the world and future generations through radical joy. So more speaking engagements in 2022. I plan on writing a book, and just continuing with these programs and coaching one-on-one clients, but really speaking and taking the conversation around joy on the road to anybody who will listen, because I could literally talk about this for hours.
Yeah. Well, and what you're doing with joy, there's probably never been a better time, because coming out of the pandemic, and I had, in March, I had put together what I call really a zone, an emotional zone circle. And I said, well, what zone are you in? I wanted people to check in with themselves every day. What zone are you in? Are you in the panic zone, where you're worried about everything? Are you in the awareness zone, that you're aware that you're in it? Or are you in the success zone? I said, I'll send this to you. And it amazes me, even to this day, that people, some people told me they put it on their fridge, and they do that. So people are dealing with an emotional challenge like they've never felt before coming out of this pandemic. And we don't realize the stress that people are under, and especially children. I'm president of the New Brunswick Board of Education, and we're seeing more fights, especially in kids transitioning to middle school and high school than ever before. And it's really palpable. So the need to have someone who can help them find joy is needed more than ever. Are you seeing that out there?
Yes, I'm seeing a lot of that as well. With people of all ages, but especially with kids, as I've been sharing this work with schools and school boards and things like that. This is a lot of what I'm hearing as well. But a really big part of what I do with this work, again, around vision, is creating vision boards. So I have a program that's called Visualize Joy that I'm taking to the schools as well, and helping children better communicate what their feelings are, but also understanding that they are the captain of their own destiny, and understanding how they can prioritize their joy in a productive way that, again, serves them, but also serves others around them. And also helping them begin to think about what it is that they may want to do for a living in the future, but in a way that doesn't put pressure on them and really allows them to engage with that conversation with play.
Well, wonderful, and you're really a family business, because your husband obviously has been a big part of what you're doing, and so you're working mostly from home. And now your children are, what age are they, and are they involved even at an early age? Are you embedding joy in their life?
Oh my gosh, yes. So my children, our daughter Aria is 5, and perfect. Our son Jace is 3. Nice. And yes, at this age, they know all about the joy situation. It's so funny. Even starting as early as 2.5, 3, Aria has kind of expressed some interest in this work. She knows the name of my site. She tells people about it. When I'm at the playground, she's like my little manager. She'll say, "Mommy, can I go give that mom your business card?" She's a very big promoter of the message of joy, but she also understands that her joy matters. And same thing with Jace, that their voice matters, that their lives matter. And understanding this at a very early age, I believe, is setting them up for really living what I like to call a faith-fueled, purpose-propelled life. Understanding that even when moments are hard, even when you don't have all the understandings, the moment you're able to really anchor yourself with your joy, but really lead by faith, so that you are able to find your way to purpose, through purpose, in purpose, no matter what the situations are. You're always setting yourself up to win.
Well, you should. My daughter and I have a 17-year-old daughter, and she's a tennis player, and I'm a tennis player. So we saw it. I would recommend this movie for everybody, King Richard, about Richard Williams. Did you see it?
Oh my goodness, we watched it this past weekend. It was amazing.
But you talk about joy, and so here they are in a tough situation. He would imbue these jokes with folks, and I liked it first, especially being African American, where he went to this white tournament. They were only black people, and people were staring. And he goes, "Well, they're not used to seeing such good-looking people." I love that. I love that joke. Is not because they were black, but because they're good-looking people. That's why they're staring. And so and even Venus and Serena now, there's joy in their life. They are positive. You really see that. And so Erica, we're at the end of time, and so this has been wonderful. You know, we could talk for hours about joy and hopefully make people happy watching us. But I want to just thank you for being on the show. Congratulations on your business. We'll continue to do some things together, and I want to thank the audience for watching Family Business World. We will see you next week. Erica, take care. Be well. Good luck.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Bye.